Hello, hello. Just let some folks come in. Hello, thanks for coming in. Just, hi Michelle, thanks for joining me. I'm going to show you guys real quick, because sometimes seeing up close pictures is a little challenging on Periscope. I'm going to show you guys how to see my Instagram pictures. I also do a blog on my website that I always do a little commentary about a Periscope that I've done. The reason that's particularly important for this scope is I'm going to show you some glaze results I just pulled out of my kiln, some experiments that I've been doing, and you're going to want to go look at the actual pictures because I'm not sure it's going to translate or convey very well through the Periscope platform. The frostiness of what I'm getting out of my glazes is pretty exciting. So I did just my standard white. See, this is the issue. I have a really nice white frosty glaze that I do, and I don't know if I can get to focus, but I just switched it instead. Isn't that funny? So here's the, you can get that, nope, it's up and it won't focus. Maybe just a single tap will make it focus. Sorry, I guess we'll just have to take pictures and show you guys later. So this is my standard glaze process. And this is just, it's alabaster satin from, thank you very much, from Coyote on the inside and on the inside of the foot. And then on the outside, I layer Strontium Crystal Magic Cool. And I do a slow controlled cool on my first glaze run. Then I will apply my decals, my botanical photography that I do. I will apply that to these and they'll go back in the kiln. And then they'll get fired for a third time. And then they come out looking different. Sometimes more satiny, more, satiny. The crystals get tighter. I did, however, do some experiments with my application, my process. So let's see if we can get it to focus on that. So I wanted to see if I disturbed that glaze layer, if I could get that glaze to do something a little more interesting. And I'm really digging this. So this is, I'm going to tip that down just a little bit. Maybe my lights are super, super bright in here, but you can see it's got a little more texture. And I'm really, it does look cool. Thank you. I am going to layer in some other decals. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's going to help. I'm working towards making it a more textile, fabric-like finish. And this is heading in the right direction. Now the other thing I did was I did some, hi Judy, I did some lace slip applied over a lace fabric. I put the slip on the fabric and put it on the cup. And then at the suggestion of one of my viewers, it was Karen or Stephanie, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was that was watching, said, you know, put that down and apply the slip through the lace and see how that applies. So I did it, and I think Corey suggested I layer it over instead of trying to roll it. I was trying to roll it like a stamp. I was trying to use the lace fabric as a stamp. It was moderately successful. I want to show you a couple of the cups, how they came out. Let's give it a second to focus here, and I'll rotate this. So this is a buff stoneware with a red iron oxide applied to a slip, which was then applied to the lace fabric. And then I laid the lace fabric over the top of this in in kind of a stamping fashion. And then there's this one. Yeah, it came out cool, didn't it, Judy? And then there's this one, and I think I'm actually kind of really loving this one. Yeah, it's really subtle. This one's got more of the texture. I was concerned that it was too textured when I did it, but I think knowing that it was going to be covered with the white opaque glaze, that I was going to give it a little bit more of a, yeah, it doesn't seem overly done at all now, and it's smoother. Of course, I sanded it in the bisque stage, so that came out really great, right? Yeah, I'm really stoked. Okay, so I'm really pleased about that. Now, look, this is the one this is the plate. Remember, I didn't trim the foot because I knew this was going to be a test piece. But I'm kind of bummed it's a test piece because it's really cool. It is really cool. Isn't that awesome? So you can see that lace coming through so beautifully. And so this side is the side that I laid the lace on it over, and then I applied the slip through the lace. And this is the side where I had the slip on the lace already, and I applied it that way. And I actually really like the dichotomy between the two styles. I think it's looking really good. Now here's my quandary. Should I apply decals, right? So my normal decal process, right? I don't know. Have you done that before? Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at, Judy. I kind of just really like it like this. I'm not sure that my decals are going to add anything to it at this point. I was looking for something to add depth to. No, everybody's no. So it's good, right? It's like it doesn't need any more layers. It doesn't need anything. Yeah. So that was my thing. Like I was trying to find something to add more interest and more depth and more layers to my decal process. But I was thinking, I mean, I'm just stroking it. It feels good. It's got a little bit of a texture to it, but it's not a major texture. And it seems, yeah. So that's one of the things I was thinking about was working with this existing pattern and not using any of my existing decals. Yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of cool. Let's see if I can find my decals here. My big old pile. Yeah, right. So this plate really is a test piece, but I really love it. I can't do anything with it. I can't sell it. Look, I mean, it's got no foot on it. It's got a funky lip. It's got a funny little spot on the lip. So it is a test piece. So in theory, knowing how much I love it, take the picture, you know, set that history down. But I was just trying to think of what would I apply to it? It seems kind of silly to add one of my bees, right? My cute little bees. They're adorable, but I don't think that they go with that pot. I have some more serious style glass wing butterflies that I've done, you know, that I drew, that I love, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Hey, Jamie, I'm not sure that I think that does anything. The only thing that might be kind of interesting is I have some images that I purchased the right to use of some bumblebees. You know, and I could do like a black bumblebee on there. But I don't know, you know, I'm kind of thinking it stands on its own 2 feet. It doesn't really need anything else. No! You know, Judy, I do too. Yeah, I really do too. So I'm thinking that's it, huh? No more. Yeah. Okay. I just needed the affirmation. Thank you, because it's opposite of where I was going, right? I was going for, the whole point was to add texture and layers, to give the decals more something, right? Okay, but what, so if I do what, Judy? Thank you. I will love you too. And I appreciate your feedback. I like the honest feedback. I really need it because, you know, I'm in that situation where most people that I ask to critique my stuff, they just tell me they love my work, and that doesn't help me improve. So I'm really, really glad that you guys tell me what you think, because like I said, I was really thinking I was going to initially, when I started this process, hello, let's see, you told me your name, but I'm not remembering it. PG Craig. So yeah, Sean. Okay, I knew that. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate that. I will probably ask you again. So yeah, so I'm thinking that that's working for me. Now the other thing I did, now Charsha was doing her single fire test to see if she could do her little trinket dishes. Now I have to show you, I fired a single one of Amelia's trinket dishes to see if I could do the same thing, and it seems to be working pretty well in the kiln. So I think I'm going to go ahead and bisque this round, but Amelia is making these cute little trinket dishes to sell. And so this first round I'm going to bisque and then let her underglaze, and then I will fire them. But yeah. Oh, I should show you this though too. Again, I'm going to show you at the end of this scope my addresses for Instagram and Facebook because those are the two primary. I post pictures plus on my blog so that you can see the actual pictures and you don't have this weird light, because it is like I do not glow like that. I just don't. So this is going where I wanted it to go, with a more antique, worn feeling, a more rustic feel. So now on these little dessert plates, that's about what, 9 inches, maybe 7 inches, somewhere in there. So these little dessert plates are starting to have kind of that little bit of a rustic feel. And now when I add my botanicals, my botanical photography to that, it's going to give it that heirloom, antique, vintage feel that I've been looking for. So I'm really, really excited about how the texture came out on these plates. So that, again, was a little bit of an experiment on my part in trying to figure out how to apply the glaze in such a way that it gave it a texture and a feeling kind of like the worn wood, the like barnwood door, right? So that one's pretty cool too. So now I'm going to add my decals to it, and I'll overfire the decals a little bit. Thank you very much. I'll be sure to make sure that I get you followed back as well. So I'm going to apply that decal process there. And let me show you. So when these come back out of the kiln, they won't be super dark. They will be a little bit faded. Hang on just a second. My daughter's calling for me. Hang on, I'll be right back. Yes, Amelia? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm back. I apologize. My daughter's home, not feeling very well today, so I went wandering off because she needed me. Nothing major. So anyway, these decals, these botanical decals. This is a dandelion puff that Amelia picked from our front yard that we took a picture of, and then this is some dill that I grew in my herb garden. That was in the summer 2014 was when these pictures were taken. And so I will put these decals onto these pots. In fact, I'm going to do that this afternoon. We'll see how far I get. And I will burn these out a little bit and have that nice antique feel that I'm going for. So I feel really, lots of people see the white stoneware and get kind of bored by it. Thank you so much. But I really think that it can have you can have a conversation with it, and it can relate to history and family. Yeah, the decal paper is Bell Decal Paper, and it's BEL decal.com. And yeah, they have this laser printer paper that I use, that I buy in bulk so that it's cheapest at its cheapest price. And I use my HP LaserJet printer to print my pictures. I use Photoshop to make sure all of that looks the way I want it to look. These are still pretty hot. I just literally did just pull these out of the kiln before I started the scope. So, so yeah, so I wanted, yes, black and white. A black and white one works just fine. That's exactly what I have. I don't have anything special. No, it's not a special color printer at all. It prints, here, I'll show you. So color decals are special. There's a special printer for that. And I live near the Archie Bray Foundation, and they have a special ceramics, color ceramics. No, color will not work. So you have to have a special one for color for ceramics. What I have that I use on my printer at home is just a LaserJet black ink only printer. And when it prints, of course I've got little itty bitty ones already cut out. When it prints out on paper just like this. And that's what it looks like. It looks black because that's how it looks on paper, but there's iron in that toner, and it's iron that melts into the glaze surface. And once it melts into the glaze surface, everything else burns away, and then it leaves you a sepia toned image. And you can use any imagery you want. Obviously, copyright work, stuff that people already own, you can't use that unless you do what I did, like with these bees, and you purchase the right to use that image. Now this is it. You can see it's kind of got a blue cast. This is actually black. This is a color print. Now the other interesting thing about decals is you can't do white as far as like a commercial ceramic decal goes. It's a special process. Screen prints you can do white, but you can't do a white decal like just on a printer kind of thing, a ceramic printer or like an HP printer. So it's a special screen print process. And I've had the opportunity to do that in a workshop, and it's a lot of work. Really cool effect, but more than I can do in my own studio. So yeah, so these images, I'm going to cut more of these little guys out and apply them today. Since my daughter is homesick, it means I get to be home working in my studio. Yeah, so my process, some people do it differently. But my specific process is I bisque, glaze, and then decal. So 3 separate firings. I bisque to 04, usually. This last time it was just barely 03. I fired between 05 and 06. I'm still dialing that in. I've moved recently, and my kiln is, I think I've done 2 full glaze firings since I've been in my studio, so I'm still dialing in what that looks like for my kiln. I put cone packs in it. So actually, speaking of which, I'll show you my cone pack. So this was my cone pack from this firing, and this is 5, and this is 6, and this is 7, and 7 is loose. I mean, it completely fell out. So I got a hard 5 and just started to move 6 in this last firing. So I need to go up a little bit. I went too high up the other way the first firing, so I dropped it down. Now I'm too low, so now I got to figure out somewhere in between there. And so, yeah, so 3 firings, and it would be really great if I could do the single fire. It's part of what this experiment was. I'm working on getting my spray booth set up or built and getting that figured out so that I can spray my work and do a single fire from greenware to glazed, and then I would only have to do 2 firings. That would be very helpful because this is a very long process otherwise. So I think that's it. No, you're not a pest at all. It's all good questions. No, I fire 04 for my bisque, 6 for glaze, and then between 01 and 1, depending on how burned out I want my decals. So the more antique looking I want my decals to be, the higher I fire. So I'll fire to cone 1, very likely on this next run of decals. So you can fire up to cone 6, but about at that point, Cone 6 on a decal is pretty burned out. It's just it's kind of a shadow of its former glory. When you, hi Kim, how you doing? When you fire the decals at a lower temperature, if you fire them at bisque temperature, so between 06 and 04, generally they're stronger, more dark colors, but it's still only going to be a version of brown. It's not going to be a black unless you have specifically either had one printed or printed one yourself. So does that help? I hope that helps. So I think that most of what I have in here is cone 04 to 06 for its standard. Oh good, I'm glad. But you can also get the color decals. These print, like I said, this is a special ceramic printer, special ceramic inks used for this. These fire to 017 and 019, so they're a much lower fire. And you just really have to know what you're playing with, obviously. It's easy to make these just go poof. Your piece might not go poof, but the imagery would. So, yeah, so that's it. So I just wanted to show off my happy, very happy experiment with my lace. And I'm going to check it out, see how I feel. I might just have to see how the decal looks on it, Judy. I'm sorry. I might have to just check it out and see if the decal adds anything, because I just have to satisfy that itch. But I'm so, thank you so much. And like I said, I will be posting up close and personal pictures so that you guys can see these. I will definitely do that with a blog post. And that's this guy right here. That's my blog. So I'll do a blog post there. I also do on Instagram. So there's that Instagram post right there so that you can see these up close and personal. I'll do a pretty good sized picture so you can see it. The texture on them is fantastic. I'm really, really excited. So probably won't get that done today, but sometime this week, okay? All right, you guys, thanks so much. Thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of your week. Take care. Bye.